and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Fortune Omoriyi. Our top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu celebrates 26 years of democracy, honors June 12 heroes. Court jails 5 terrorists for 150 years, orders asset forfeiture. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commissions 54 billion naira Airport-Kuje road, promises more projects in satellite towns. And on the foreign scene, Trump says Iran peace deal near as hopes rise for Strait of Hormuz reopening. Now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has marked Nigerians' 2026 Democracy Day by celebrating 27 years of uninterrupted civilian rule and honoring dozens of pro-democracy activists and military officers who played key roles in the June 12 struggle. He described the milestone as evidence of Nigerians' democratic progress and resilience. The president called on stakeholders to ensure peaceful and credible governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun states. He also urged the judiciary, National Assembly, media, and civil society groups to continue safeguarding democratic institutions while encouraging young Nigerians to actively participate in nation building. Addressing security concerns, Tinubu acknowledged the recent adoptions in Oyo and Borno states, but reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling insecurity. He said over 50,000 police officers and thousands of military recruits would be added to strengthen security operations, backed by a record 5.41 trillion naira allocation to the sector in 2026 budget. However, opposition voices questioned the state of the nation's democracy. The African Democratic Congress argued that democracy should be judged by improvements in citizens' welfare and security, while a non-poll survey found that 72% of Nigerians are dissatisfied with democratic governance, citing insecurity, economic hardship, and poor leadership as major concerns. 5 terrorism suspects have been sentenced to a total of 150 years imprisonment by the Federal High Court in Abuja for their involvement in terrorist activities in Niger and Kwara states. The convicts pleaded guilty to terrorism-related charges before Justice Binta Nyako. The court sentenced the 5 men to 25 years imprisonment each on charges of conspiracy and providing support to Boko Haram members. 4 of the convicts also received additional 7-year jail terms for unlawful possession of firearms, while the court ordered the forfeiture of weapons and a vehicle used in transporting the arms to the federal government. Reacting to the development, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria rejected plans to grant amnesty to repentant terrorists. PFN President Bishop Wale Oke insisted that individuals involved in killing and kidnappings must face the full wrath of the law before any consideration of repentance. Oke urged the federal government to intensify efforts to combat insecurity across the country, stressing that there is no justification for excusing acts of terrorism. He maintained that criminals should serve their sentences in prison regardless of claims of repentance. South Africa has begun the repatriation of 586 Nigerians found to be residing in the country without valid immigration documents, with the first batch already returned to Nigeria. South African authorities said the exercise is part of efforts to enforce immigration laws and strengthen border control measures. According to South Africa's Department of Home Affairs, the first flight departed on June 11th, carrying over 260 Nigerians, while a second flight is scheduled for June 15th to transport the remaining returnees. The department stated that all affected individuals were issued emergency travel documents by the Nigerian High Commission to facilitate their return. The department added that those returned have been declared undesirable persons under South African immigration laws and will be barred from re-entering the country for 5 years. Authorities also urged foreign nationals to maintain valid immigration status and comply with the country's laws. Meanwhile, the first barge of returnees arrived at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos on Thursday and were received by officials of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission and other government agencies. The federal government said it is working with South African authorities to safeguard welfare of Nigerians abroad and address concerns arising from reported xenophobic attacks. The senator representing Edo Central Senatorial District, Joseph Ikpea, has urged Nigerians, particularly residents of Edo State, to remain vigilant and promptly report suspicious activities to security agencies. In a statement issued in Benin City, Ikpea said security should not be left to the government alone, stressing that citizens have a responsibility to support efforts aimed at protecting lives and property. He advised residents of Edo Central not to ignore recent security alerts issued by the Department of State Services, noting that criminal elements do not target specific regions and can strike anywhere. The lawmaker also called on community members to pay attention to unfamiliar faces and unusual movements in their neighborhoods and report any suspicious behavior before it escalates into security threats. Ikpea commended Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo for ordering the closure of schools identified as vulnerable following a DSS warning about a planned attack by bandits. He described the move as a proactive step that demonstrated the government's commitment to protecting lives and ensuring public safety. Residents of Ohuhu in Umuahia North Local Government Area of Abia State have praised security operatives and local youth for rescuing two kidnapped victims adopted by suspected kidnappers. The victims, Mrs. Onyinyechi Ikechukwu and 20-year-old Izuchukwu Okechi, were reportedly kidnapped on June 10th near Umuahia along the Umuahia-Uzuakoli Road. The adopters later demanded a ransom of 10 million naira from the families. Following the incident, community youth joined police officials, vigilantes, and forest guards in a coordinated search operation across nearby bushes in an effort to locate the victims. According to community sources, the intense search mounted by the youth and security teams forced the kidnappers to abandon the captives and flee the area. Confirming the rescue, the spokesperson of the Abia State Police Command, DSP Maureen Chiaka, said the victims were freed after the suspects fled on citing security operatives. She added that one of the victims sustained injuries and was taken to the hospital for treatment, while efforts were ongoing to arrest the fleeing suspects. We take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the beat sector. Please stay with us.
Democracy is more than a system of government. It is the voice of the people, the freedom to choose, the power to participate, and the collective responsibility to build a stronger nation. As Nigeria marks Democracy Day, we celebrate the resilience of our democratic institutions, the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom, and the enduring hope of millions working towards a better future. From governance and accountability to housing, infrastructure, education, and economic development, every step forward is a testament to the strength of our democracy. Today, we honor the journey, we reflect on the progress, and we renew our commitment to nation building. Housing TV Africa joins Nigerians at home and across the world in celebrating Democracy Day. Together, let us continue building a nation of opportunity, inclusion, and shared prosperity. Happy Democracy Day, Nigeria. Democracy Day 2026. Celebrating freedom, strengthening democracy, building the future. Housing TV Africa, the voice of housing infrastructure and development.
Glad to know you're still with us. You're watching Housing TV News at the hour. And now to the build sector. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commissioned the newly completed Airport Expressway to Kuje Township in the Federal Capital Territory, reaffirming his administration's commitment to expanding infrastructure development in satellite communities. Represented by Kashim Shettima, Tinubu described the 54 billion naira six-lane dual carriageway as evidence of the government's resolve to complete a burden project and deliver on its promises to Nigerians. The president said the road, which was awarded in 2022 but suffered delays before his administration took office, will ease traffic congestion, reduce travel time, boost economic activities, and improve access to markets for farmers and businesses. He noted that the project aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda, which seeks to extend development beyond city centers to underserved communities. According to him, improved road infrastructure will help decongest Abuja, attract investment, and increase property values in surrounding towns. Speaking earlier, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike said the 8.6-kilometer road has long-posed security and transportation challenges for residents. He added that the administration would soon commission the Kuje-Gwangwalada dual carriageway as part of ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure across the FCT. Katsina State Governor Diko Umaru Radda has inaugurated 152 housing units for internally displaced persons in Abia local government area as part of efforts to support victims of insecurity and rebuild affected communities. Speaking during the commissioning ceremony, Radda described the project as a significant step towards restoring hope, dignity, and stability to families displaced by years of banditry and violence. The housing estate was developed under the Northwest Development Facility Project through a partnership involving the United Nations Development Programme and other development partners. According to the governor, beneficiaries will receive not only accommodation but also essential household items, including mattresses, blankets, cooking utensils, food supplies, and financial support to help them restart their lives. He noted that the intervention forms part of a broader strategy aimed at promoting economic recovery, community resilience, and human security across the state. Radda said the project also includes several supporting facilities such as a climate hub enterprise center, a solar-powered mini-grid, a veterinary clinic, market stalls, lock-up shops, rehabilitated cattle loading facilities, and solar-powered electrification. He added that farmers and small business owners have also benefited from agricultural support and grants to improve livelihoods. And on the foreign scene, hopes for a breakthrough in the conflict between the United States and Iran grew on Friday after U.S. President Donald Trump said a peace agreement could be signed as early as this weekend. Speaking at the White House, Trump said negotiations have made significant progress and suggested that the Strait of Hormuz, a key global shipping route, could officially reopen once the agreement is signed. He added that the Vice President, J.D. Vance, is expected to attend the signing ceremony. The proposed deal would mark a major diplomatic milestone in efforts to end the three-month conflict, which has claimed thousands of lives and disrupted global energy markets. However, Iranian officials cautioned that no final decision has been reached, saying the agreement is still under review by the country's leadership. Iran's foreign minister acknowledged that substantial parts of the deal have been finalized, but stressed that Tehran would not compromise on its core interest. Iran is reportedly seeking sanctions relief, access to frozen assets, and recognition of its rights in the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. insists the agreement must prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Despite the positive signals, tensions remain high. Reports indicate that military incidents continued around the Strait of Hormuz, including drone interceptions and disruption to commercial shipping. Nevertheless, global markets reacted positively, with stock prices rising and oil prices falling on expectations that a peace deal may soon be reached. We take another pause here, and up next are news stories from the business sector and sports news. Do stay with us.
Are you getting ready for another big one? The largest housing show in Africa. 2 decades of relentless exhibition and conference. The 20th edition of the Africa International Housing Show, happening from the 13th to 18th of July 2026 at the prestigious Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria. This premier event is Africa's largest housing and construction expo, attracting over 50,000 attendees in Africa and beyond, thereby giving room for developers, construction giants, financiers, home interiors, mortgage and microfinance banks, drawing from about 21 different countries of the world. Get ready to be part of history.
Glad to know you're still with us. This is Daily News on the hour. And moving on to the business sector. Nigeria's crude oil production increased to 1.53 million barrels per day in May 2026, according to the latest monthly oil market report released by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. The figure represents an improvement from the 1.49 million barrels per day recorded in April, signaling a gradual recovery in the country's oil sector after months of challenges linked to supply disruptions, infrastructure limitations, and investment concerns. OPEC said Nigeria continues to rank among Africa's leading oil producers alongside Algeria, Libya, and Congo as member countries work to stabilize supply in the global energy market. Beyond oil production, the organization expressed optimism about Nigeria's economic outlook, citing stronger business activity, improving macroeconomic stability, and increased domestic demand. According to the report, the nation's economy grew by 3.9% in the first quarter of 2026, driven largely by growth in agriculture, manufacturing, construction, trade, finance, and communication sectors. The Central Bank of Nigeria has unveiled draft guidelines aimed at strengthening oversight of transactions between banks, financial institutions, and their affiliated companies to protect depositors, enhance consumer protection, and safeguard financial stability. Under the proposed guidelines on ring-fencing operations of closely linked entities in the Nigerian financial system, entities operating within the same corporate group will be required to maintain clear operational governance and financial boundaries. The framework seeks to prevent the mixing of activities across different license categories and reduce risks that could spread across related businesses. According to a circular signed by the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation, Dr. Rita Sike, the guidelines will require affiliated entities to operate independently with separate boards, risk management systems, and control structures. The CBN also proposed limits on overlapping board memberships and mandatory annual audits to assess compliance with operational independence requirements. The draft rules further mandate that transition between related companies must be conducted on arm's length terms, properly documented and reported to the regulator every quarter. Affiliated entities will also be prohibited from granting loans or guarantees to one another without prior approval from the Apex Bank. The CBN has invited stakeholders to review the draft and submit comments before July 9, 2026, ahead of the framework's final implementation. And moving over to the sports scene, Cristiano Ronaldo has declared Portugal ready for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, following the 2-1 victory over Nigerian Super Eagles in a pre-tournament friendly match played on Wednesday. The Portugal captain expressed confidence in his team's preparations after the game, posting on social media that their World Cup build-up was complete and that the team was now focused on the tournament. Despite the defeat, the Super Eagles delivered a spirited performance. The result marked the first defeat in regulation time for Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle since taking charge, ending a 25-match unbeaten run. Portugal will now head into the World Cup, where they are drawn in Group K alongside the Democratic Republic of Congo, Colombia, and Uzbekistan. And that's all we can take for now on the news at the top of the hour. But before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu celebrates 26 years of democracy, honors June 12 heroes, court jails 5 terrorists for 150 years, orders asset forfeiture. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commissions 54 billion naira Airport-Kuje road, promises more projects in satellite towns. And on the foreign scene, Trump says Iran peace deal near as hopes rise for Strait of Hormuz reopening. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Housing TV Africa. Follow us on all our social media platforms. You can also download the Housing TV mobile app and the free TV app on your Google Play Store to stay connected. Many thanks for watching. I am Fortune Omori. Bye for now.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.